Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we are talking about 12 things that no one tells you about Amtrak.
First thing that nobody tells you about Amtrak is that you don't have to pay full price. They do run a lot of sales throughout the year. They have a famous BOGO sale, which is buy one, get one, either on coach class seats or roomettes. But they also have everyday discounts on their website. And we're just going to run through some of those right here for you, because a lot of people don't know they're eligible for a discount just on everyday travel. You can get a child discount, a senior discount, a student discount, military discount, military child, veteran, passengers with disabilities, group travel, rail passengers association, kids and trains, and government discount. That's a lot of discounts.
That is a lot of discounts. And it's funny because people just don't think about looking at that list, and they've got it right there on their website, the whole list. And like you said, the sales throughout the year, they do a lot of pop-up sales like spring, or say like, oh, if you're, just traveling in the Northeast corridor. And the buy one, get one free is very famous, but it's also elusive because you never know when they're going to do it. It's
right.
just like a big surprise whenever it happens. And we always announce it on all our social media because it's exciting, and it's usually for a small window of time that they do it. So it's not like it's, a long time that they do it. So it's very important that, you guys know about it. But I think that's a really big deal, that people understand that there are standing discounts throughout the year.
Yeah, and the biggest one, I think, is the passengers with disabilities discount. It is a huge discount. So if you qualify for that one, call in and, let them know. And that is a very good discount to take advantage of if you're going to be traveling in the accessible room. Second thing that no one tells you is that you can purchase lounge access at some stations.
That's right. And, for the most part, the lounges are accessible to those with sleeper car tickets. At a couple of lounges, it's first class passengers also. But for the most part, it's the sleeper car passengers. But at quite a few of the stations, you are able to purchase lounge passes. So make sure you check before you go, because the lounges are actually really nice, especially the one in New York is really nice. It's our favorite.
Yeah, it is the best one pretty much by far. The food is great, staff is great, great view of the station. Definitely check that one out. Third thing no one tells you about is that red cap service is for everyone.
Yes, and I think that people are understanding that it's just for like sleeper car or whatever. But when you check in, just let them know, hey, I'm going to need red cap service. And it is a free service, but it is highly encouraged that you tip the porters. But there is no charge outside of that. So it is available to any passenger on the train.
Next thing that no one tells you is that station stops are all different, and they're all going to be different lengths and for different purposes. So if you get off at your first station and it's a 20-minute, 30-minute break, it's not going to be that same on every station. Sometimes they're changing a crew out. Sometimes they're doing work on the train. Sometimes they're just rolling up and letting one person off, and they're going to keep on going. It's only a 2-minute stop. So you do really have to pay attention as to what they say each stop is for. And sometimes they cut those even shorter. So it can change. Keep up to date with the attendants in your car, and you'll know exactly how long you're going to be able to get off the train for.
Yeah, definitely, because if something comes up, like, they need to repair something on the train, or sometimes they need to change out food or something like that, then that will make a different stop a little bit longer than normal. And the conductor always does announce when the stations are coming up. They will tell you, this one, we're just letting people off and people on, and then we're moving on. And you could tell. You're in there and all of a sudden you're like, whoa, we barely stopped and now we're moving again. So it's important to pay attention. If you don't hear it by any chance, make sure you ask a staff person how long it's going to be so that you don't get left behind.
All right, the next one is that the Wi-Fi rarely works as well as intended. So the Wi-Fi does work, but it's generally not going to be any faster than the cell service on your phone. And I think nowadays a lot of people have unlimited data on their phone, so it's going to be easier just to stay on your phone and do that. And even if you're trying to get an iPad on that doesn't have service, if your phone has a hotspot, it's still going to be probably quicker just to use that because you're going to be the only person on your own hotspot.
Yeah, because in all honesty, the Wi-Fi is using the cell towers anyways to try to pull that service. So you're better off just going directly and using the cell service itself.
Yeah, and you're just sharing one connection with hundreds of people. So it's definitely not as good as just using your own phone. Don't think that there's going to be 24-hour day Wi-Fi blazing fast service on the whole train. That is not going to work out well. The next one that no one tells you is you might be able to upgrade for less money than it states on the little bid up process.
That's right. I think that a lot of people get scared because they see that little meter and it says, oh, your chances don't look so good. Maybe bid this amount and it will look better. And they're just trying to coax you into bidding a lot more money. But I'm hearing a lot of people saying, I put in the bare minimum and I got the upgrade. Now, you're not going to find out till about an hour before you get on the train, but I think it's worth a shot. We have tried it a couple times ourselves, but they have been pretty much sold out trains, so we haven't, done our bid up, and they have been in the sleepers. So just, roll the dice and take the chance at much lower than bidding the amount that they're actually telling you on that meter.
The next one is that you can call for a voucher after an extended delay. Your train is late by 6, 8, 12 hours. You can call and they don't really tell you that. We've had that happen many times, probably 10 to 15 times where we've been that late. And only one time has anyone on the train ever told us to call in for the voucher. So if that happens to you, they may not tell you, but you can call in.
Yeah, I think it's important because that also helps them with customer service overall. They're like, hey, we had to issue refunds or, partial refunds or credits on, a number of these. We need to do better. So I think it's helpful also to do that. And I would do that as soon after the ride as you can. So don't wait like a week and then call in. Try to call in, that day if possible, the next day at the very latest.
That kind of goes with this next one, which is that your train is going to be late. Now, it's not 100% going to be late, but it's 80% going to be late. I can count on a handful the number of times we've gotten in early. That just never happens. So your train, it's not. We just bought a ticket, in another country, and it was like we had a connection to make, and the connection is 18 minutes, and we're like, oh, sure, that'll be fine. That's enough time to get there. We'll get in early. We'll walk over to the other platform, get on the train. You cannot do that with Amtrak. Your train is going to be late, and there are, unless you're on the Northeast Corridor, no other trains coming that day. So just keep in mind that if you're coming and you're not from America and you're used to train systems in other countries, this is not like it says trains get in at 2. You might get in at 6. You just don't know.
Exactly. I think that is a huge factor in if you're going to have an overall good experience or bad experience is the expectation. If you already know it's going to be late, I had somebody left a comment actually and said, I already knew it was going to be late, so I didn't get my hopes up for it being on time. And they said, I didn't get upset because I knew it was going to because, I watched your video and you told me that it was going to be late and they knew what to expect. So I think that's really helpful to know ahead of time. The other key thing is, when you're making plans on that as well, like if you're switching trains, like you were, Rob was saying, we have 18 minutes between 2 trains in a different country, and we didn't think anything of it. We were saying as we were walking away after we bought our tickets, we were like, I wouldn't even dream of having that small of a window on an Amtrak train, like ever. I mean, it'd have to be hours and hours, and for the most part, we usually wait an entire day. We don't usually leave till the next day. Yeah,
it is just something you don't want to get caught up in because there should be a big sign on the website that says this train is probably going to be late, but there isn't. So if you don't know, no one has told you, then you're gonna miss your train. So the next one is that you can call in to Amtrak to have your room number switched, your location of your room, after you have bought your tickets.
That's right. Especially, I think this is a big deal on the superliners where there's an upper and a lower level. If you have any mobility issues and you think the stairs might be a problem, you could call and say, I really would like to have a room downstairs. Or if you get a room downstairs and you're like, I really don't want to be downstairs because I heard those rooms were not that great. I would rather be upstairs. Call them as soon as you get your room number, because I think that's the hard thing is when you buy a ticket on Amtrak, you can't pick the room. You just get, a random allotment. Now, if you do call up, they do discuss that with you and you can just choose it that way. But if you buy it in the app like we do or online, then, it's going to be just a luck of the draw what you get. And so if that doesn't work out for you, then you can always call them up and they will switch that out for you if there's any availability.
Yeah, so on the superliners, the higher numbers are downstairs. The lower numbers, single digit numbers, are upstairs. And 1 is usually the attendant, 2 is usually right across from the attendant. We like 2. That's a good room number. They're all fine though. And if you have really high numbers, like much higher than that, then you're in a transition car, which is also very interesting. So the next one is that most trains have A1 sauce in the back, in the diner. But you have to ask for it. They're not going to set it on the table. We were on probably 15 sleeper car trains before one of the dining attendants asked us, hey, do you want some A1 with that steak? And I was like, yeah. You have that? They're like, yeah, all of them have it. It was like no one had ever said anything about it. So that came as a shock to us. Now we just ask for it.
Yeah, now that we know that it's in there, they say they put them on there. It doesn't get used very often. I guess because some of the attendants don't know that it's there or don't think about it, or people just don't ask for it. But now we know.
Nobody knows it's there, apparently.
Now you know.
So yeah, if you like A1, then just ask for it. Next thing that people don't tell you is that the upper bunk on a superliner roomette can get cold because the air vent is right in front of your face. And if they're going to have the air on in the room, which you will probably need to do, it's going to blow right on you. So you can fix that a couple of ways. The best way is just to have some duct tape and to tape it to the air vent and kind of make a little mini barrier. Sometimes you'll get in there.
Like a little shield.
A shield. And the last person has left one on there. And that was like, oh, that's a good idea. So if you have that, it can really help you out.
Yeah, because you can close it off, but even when you flip it to close, you probably know this too, like in your car, when you close the vents, there's still air coming through. That's the same thing with these types of vents. You can, push it over to close, but there's still going to be air coming through. And it really is, from what I understand, quite cold up there.
It can be, yeah. So it goes from closed to 3/4 closed. So it's not really closed if you flip that switch. So the next one is that there is no way to lock the doors from the outside of your roomette, or even secure the door from just flying open. And this is kind of surprising to people because you used to be able to lock the doors. There is a little latch that had a place for a padlock, and you could bring a padlock and you could lock your door. Now you can't. Those have all been changed. And so if you get up to go to dinner, say the two of you, not only can you not lock the door, pretty much assuredly when you come back, your door is going to be wide open because the train's going to jostle, the door is going to come open. It's just going to be going back and forth. So that's just something we always pull the curtain behind us when we leave, because just know that the door is going to be open probably most of the time you're gone. And the other thing about it is, if you get up to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night and the other person is asleep in the room, that door is going to go back and forth the whole time and possibly wake them up. So we always bring something to wedge underneath the door, like a really thin flip-flop, because that will at least keep the door in place, and then you can pull that out when you want to go. And we don't wedge it from the outside, it's not flip-flop sitting in the hallway, but we just wedge it from the inside just so it kind of secures it a little bit and doesn't wake the other person up when you're using the bathroom.
Yeah, because it was an actual literal, wake up when we were on our very first, sleeper train. I think I don't remember, one of us got up to go to the bathroom and the door just kept open, and when it slides open, it like slams because it's like a metal frame. The door is metal and the frame is metal, and it slams every time it slides all the way over. And not only is it waking the people up in your room, but also the people around you as well. So it's pretty annoying for everybody.
Yeah.
So you don't really have a choice in that, though.
And the other thing is, when you go away, just know that your stuff's going to be out there. Now, we've never had a problem with that. Pull the curtain and it's fine. But maybe just don't leave like big expensive things sitting right on the seat, because the door is going to likely be open.
Yeah, I think that's the key thing, is if you pull those curtains closed, people don't know if someone's in there or not. Because you could be up on the top bunk laying down. But if you leave the curtain open and your door slides open, then everybody knows there's nobody in there. So always pull those, and I always Velcro them as we walk out so that they don't slide open. They don't generally do that, but just in case, if they flap around, and then people can see that there's no one in there. So I try to secure it, make it look like someone's in there still, and we don't ever really have a problem.
No. So this has been the things that nobody will tell you about on Amtrak. Hopefully this has been helpful to you. If it was, please give us a like. Leave us a comment of any other things that you've thought of, and we will see you on the next video.